Magic Kingdom, nothing. No rides, no extra special. You have to work. And so that's what's on the line. VCU with the basketball first in their black uniforms with the gold lettering and white trim. Boise in the whites with the blue lettering and the orange trim. Shulga, who we highlighted off the top, shoots an air ball. Good job by VCU to track it down, continue the possession as we are just underway. Zeb Jackson, one of the co-captains, a 6'5" senior from Toledo, to Furman. And Cam Martin, the 7th year, spent the last 2 years with the Kansas Jayhawks, has his first rebound. And there you see the lineups with Martin in the middle, along with Abo, Max Rice, Jace Whiting, and Degenhart. This is a Boise team with a 2-2 record on the year. VCU is 3-2.
I like this matchup right here. Cam Martin has to go to work.
Blocked. Not sure which guy got it. It might have been Michael Bell, number 8. Either way, it's going the other way. And for VCU, under the direction of first-year head coach Ryan Odom, Zeb Jackson, Max Shulga, Michael Bell, kind of a 3-guard attack. Kwani and Christian Furman, who we've already seen inside. He is 6'10", a sophomore from Tobi, Pennsylvania. Ball turned over by Michael Bell.
This is a VCU team that at times can get sped up.
And at the same time, both of these two teams could have won their first-round games, their quarterfinals yesterday. Boise State lost to Virginia Tech 82-75. 16 turnovers kind of cost them. And VCU lost to Iowa State in a tight ball game 68-64. The Cyclones came back from 15 down. It looked like for a time VCU might be the team making the most noise here.
For all the length that VCU shows, I found it interesting going back and looking at the film tape. They got out rebounded by Iowa State. And you would think a team like this that plays one guy under 6'5", and Max Shulga, the point guard, 6'5", the ability to get his feet set, shoulders squared off of the out-of-bounds play, elite.
You get that kind of look for that man, it's likely to go in. Foul off the ball. Degenhart and Kwani were battling for position. And it goes against Kwani. 6'9" grad transfer from Cal. Grew up in Melbourne, Australia, and Ryan Odom picked him up for his final year of college basketball. Of course, Coach Odom is most known nationally for having led UMBC to the upset of the Virginia Cavaliers, the first time a 1 seed lost to a 16 seed in the NCAA tournament. And from that, Coach Odom, of course, became the toast of the town in Baltimore. And he got a chance to throw out the first pitch of a Baltimore Orioles game. Baseball Hall of Famer Jim Palmer went up to him and said, "Don't go up on the rubber. Don't go up on the mound. You'll be bad." So he chose to throw it from in front of the mound.
Oh, no, you can't do that.
Well, it's the safe way to go.
No, you can't do that. No, you can't. Everybody goes to the mound, and you have to throw the strike.
And I'm with you. You've got to do that. But he chose to play it safe.
And look at this block right here. Every single time, Iowa State learned this yesterday, when you drive to the paint against this VCU squad, you will be faced with 6'8", 6'9", 6'10s flying towards you, trying to block your shot.
Here's Jace Whiting, the only member of his immediate family not to play for BYU. In fact, his mom is the head coach of the Cougars women's basketball program. Broncos turn it over.
Oh, wow, I never knew that. That's a good one.
Dad played, mom played. Little sister's a star freshman for mom.
Wow.
They're in Provo.
They got a great basketball family.
They do.
I wish my sister would have played. She wants to be a girly girl.
Do we have time to get into that now?
Probably not.
Zeb Jackson with his first 2 out of Maumee Valley Country Day School, excuse me, in Toledo, Ohio. Here's Max Rice, the older of the 2 sons of head coach Leon Rice. That ball goes out of bounds. VCU's pressure causing Boise State some trouble.
Right now, Boise State is not getting any driving lanes. If you watch that whole possession, everything stayed outside of the three-point line. You have to be able to take it and drive. You cannot be scared of the pressure. You have to be able to attack.
Jackson dumps it off to Furman. Has his arm chopped. That goes against Max Rice. First team foul against the Broncos. Whiting now goes out. And Omar Stanley, the former St. John's Red Storm, into the game for the first time.
I like this substitution because I think Omar Stanley brings that level of energy and intensity to match VCU right now.
Roddy Anderson into the game. That's Roddy Anderson III from Huntington Beach, California.
You know, I think this is a game where Roddy Anderson can really shine because they need a guard. They need a point guard to be able to break the defense down and get into the lane, and I think he can do that.
Problem with playing him too much, he's been so poor shooting the basketball, only 17% on the year. That's what's cost him his starting spot for now. 5 to shoot.
Oh.
And a chance for 4. The foul on the three-point shot, nailed by Chibuzo Abo.
Abo has been playing extremely well. This guy has turned into a complete basketball player. I watched him at Texas Tech. His development, his growth has been impressive. Right there, he makes contested shots because he has a high arching release and elevates on his jumper.
He is 9 of 20 now this year from beyond the three-point line. The senior from San Diego completes the 4-point play.
And he gets the ball up in the air. That's typically when you see guys really elevate, they typically shoot darts. But he shoots it up in the air and gets great arching, great rotation on his jumper.
Bell coming off his career game. Got the pass to Furman, who had it poked away. Broncos with it, down by a point. Anderson with a head of steam with the left hand no. Shulga had it poked away. Out of bounds, VCU basketball when we come back. The Rams 5, the Broncos 4 in this consolation game here at Disney. With King McClure, I'm Doug Sherman. And we are glad to be here with 6 teams out of the 18 field that played in last year's Big Dance, including one that went all the way to the Final Four. FAU and the Owls, not surprisingly, have punched their ticket into Sunday's 1 o'clock championship game here. And we've got a couple of head coaches in their first season. Mike Rhodes left VCU. He's at Penn State now. And Ryan Odom, who we're seeing tonight in his first year with the Rams. Odom from a tremendous basketball family. Of course, his father, Dave Odom, was the head coach at Wake Forest. Back when Tim Duncan and our own Randolph Childress were doing things in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Ryan Odom grew up actually in Charlottesville, Virginia for the most part because his dad was an assistant at Virginia before he got the head coaching job at Wake. So
yeah, that's before my time.
Well, a lot of things are before your time, I'm finding out.
The Tim Duncan college era. I just remember Tim Duncan from the first. I remember old Tim Duncan with Kawhi, 2006, 2007. I don't remember David Robinson era. Yeah, I remember old Tim Duncan. But he was still the big fundamental. He was still getting it done.
Oh, yeah.
He was a problem, man, no matter how old he got, because he had one of those games where it didn't matter how old he was because he would always be effective because he didn't really play based off his athleticism. He played based off his skill. But
as a kid, think about what Ryan Odom was exposed to. Ralph Sampson at Virginia. Yeah. And then the big fundamental.
Ralph Sampson, I'm not even going to lie to you. I know who he is. I know the history.
Oh, my gosh.
But I've never, ever seen Ralph Sampson play before.
Oh, come on. We got to get – you know what YouTube is, right?
I do know what YouTube is.
3-time National Player of the Year.
I know the history. I know how great he is.
Oh,
but I've never, ever seen him play. I just hear these stories of Ralph Sampson. And you know what? I gotta do YouTube. I got to go look this up.
We're going to do that at halftime. This has gone on long enough. Off day tomorrow. That's your assignment. A full 2-hour Virginia basketball game from the early 80s. Nearly 5 minutes gone. Boise State with the basketball down by a point. And Roddy Anderson, who started the first couple of games of the regular season, coming off the bench so far here this week in Florida. And a traveling violation against Omar Stanley. Junior out of Blue Valley West High School in Overland Park, Kansas. Gives it back to VCU.
That's a good call. Right there, one-on-one. I would love to see Omar Stanley look for his own and be selfish right there. Go get a bucket because they're not sending the double because they are saying that Christian Furman can stop you. Omar Stanley, go get you one right there in that moment. Your team needs it.
Alfonso Fats Billups and Tobi Lawal come into the game along with the backup point guard, the only guy under 6'5". Jason Nelson. Here is Nelson in the corner for three. Just off the bench, he comes out firing.
That is what Nelson provides for this team. They do not shoot the three well. They have a lot of guys who just don't make threes. But when he comes into the game, he is not one of those guys who contribute to the non-making of threes. You can see he's a floor spacer looking to get his shot, and that's a great pass by Shulga.
Just over 40% now on the year from three after making that triple. Degenhart spotting up. Around and out. Phillips cleared the rebound. Here comes Nelson, the former Richmond Spider, who transferred crosstown to VCU last year. Shulga looking to work on Anderson. Uses the left hand with great effect.
And that's what I'm talking about. When we talk about pro, the ability to take the contact, and he scooped it in with his left hand. That is a high skill level right there.
Young man from Kyiv, Ukraine. Most of his family is still in Kyiv. As far as we know, and as far as he knows, they are not in harm's way at the moment, but certainly weighs heavily on his mind.
Got to bounce that one.
Yeah, deflected away. Good hands by Christian Furman.
Right there, Omar Stanley has to know you have to make the bounce pass on the backdoor cut. He was wide open. Anderson was wide open. He threw a chest pass. The defense's hand automatically goes to the side. Have to bounce that one or throw the lob over.
R.J. Keene's come into the game, and I got to mention, a couple of days ago at their shoot-around for Boise State, he made a point afterward to come over to my man King and dap you up. What did he call you? Baylor Bears royalty?
He said Baylor legend or something like that.
Nice.
Man, he's just talking. I don't know about all that.
He knew you. He watched you.
I don't know about all that, man.
He's from the Woodlands in Texas, and there is that elevation, the vertical we've been talking about for 2 days from Tobi Lawal.
Oh, my gosh. Off of vert. He wasn't moving. He stood still. Let's check this out one more time. Off of vert. My man doesn't move. Oh, my goodness. He elevates. He rises. Oh, you better get out the way.
Thanks to Total Wine, you saved more on all the gifts for the ones you adore. Wine, spirits, beers, all nestled on shelves.
Find what you love what you find. Always lowest prices at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Rams on a 7-0 run, highlighted by the 49.5-inch vertical leap of sophomore Tobi Lawal. The young man from London, England, jumps like nobody else in this gym.
Oh, man. That's crazy. That doesn't even make sense. You know, it's almost not safe to jump this high, because when you jump that high, you have to land. But let's take a look at the highest verticals in the NBA Combine. Tobi Lawal beats these by 1.5 inches. We won't even see Zion on here. Zion is a guy who you would think would have a 43+ and be on this list, but he beats all of these guys. We talked to the SID, and he said when they did this testing, they had to put boxes underneath the actual stanchion to make it higher, because he was jumping higher than the actual thing.
And then when his teammates did it, they took the boxes out and did it as normal. It really is something. And you alluded, King, a moment ago to the fact that he dances. He jumps so high that it can be dangerous to try and land. Max Rice misses on the finger roll. We saw in last night's quarterfinal game twice he left his feet and came down and hit his head hard. Phillips is fouled. That personal against Max Rice, his second. Max Rice, the 6'5", 6th year from Bishop Kelly High School in Boise, Idaho. Yes, he is the son of head coach Leon Rice. His younger brother Cade is a redshirt freshman reserve for the Broncos. And it's interesting talking to Leon Rice about the fact that he's one of 21 Division I head coaches with a son on his team. He's got 2. Both Bobby and Danny Hurley, Fran McCaffrey. Jawan Howard also, of course, has coached his son. Zeb Jackson with the slam. The run continues. It's now a 9-0 VCU stretch.
But let's not get it twisted, Doug. Tobi Lawal is a freak athlete, but there's still some really athletic guys on this team.
Oh, yeah, I didn't mean to imply that the other guys couldn't jump. Just
they
pales
still
in
got
comparison.
some athletes. But
Yes.
in comparison, they don't really compare, but they're still really athletic.
Nelson kicks it back out. Plenty of time to shoot. Here's Kwani back into the game. Has it poked away. Anderson has it for Boise State. And he has it knocked away to Lawal.
Good foul.
Smart foul given up at midcourt by Max Rice. And that's his third foul already here tonight. We touched on the fact that Ryan Odom is from a basketball family. Former Division III point guard at Hampden-Sydney College. Graduated in '96 and went right into coaching. And what a career it has been. A couple of great years at Utah State. And then coming back to the East where he had so much success at UMBC. And we mentioned that Leon Rice has two of his sons on his team. Well, Ryan Odom is one of those other 21 coaches who has a son on the team. Connor Odom is a senior on this club who transferred back with his dad from Utah State after a couple of years. So basketball is in the bloodlines for both of these coaches. Ryan Odom now a 49-year-old. He grew up in Winston-Salem, as mentioned. And he has himself what is a very, at least to you and I, an intriguing roster. A lot to work with this year in the A-10.
Particularly on the defensive side of things. The one thing that has to get better, has to improve if they want to see levels of success is their perimeter shooting. But if they can figure it out and they can knock down shots, this could be a scary, sneaky team in the Atlantic 10. Because right now, the way that they are defending Boise, Boise does not have an answer to attack.
And that poll, as much as anything, is based on VCU's reputation, because most of the roster and the coaching staff are completely new from a year ago. But based on early returns, it wouldn't surprise me if VCU was in the hunt.
Yeah.
But clearly the Flyers seem to be the team to beat again this season in the A-10 with their coach Anthony Grant back. Deron Holmes, possibly a future NBA player, back for another year with the Flyers. And with that support that they have, Dayton is set up to always be successful in the A-10, but so too is VCU. As we talked about last night, they've got wonderful facilities and great support there in the city of Richmond.
When you play a team like VCU, we saw last night what Iowa State did. You just have to attack. It's one of those teams, it's one of those games where you have to put your head down, get to the rim, and not be afraid of pressure.
Roosevelt Wheeler, the Louisville transfer who did not play last night, into the game, and he picks up the foul that sends Degenhart to the line. Degenhart had 18 points in the loss to Virginia Tech last night. First team All Mountain West Conference a year ago, and the year before that, well, he was the freshman of the year. And this from a young man who really was not a big recruit.
Yeah.
But he is from that part of the country, from the great Northwest, and Leon Rice knows talent in his backyard when he sees it, and he immediately was an impact player for the Broncos.
But that's a great point you just brought up. He was not a high-level recruit, but he has gotten better. Leon Rice, the way he develops at Boise is huge. We look at Abo, we look at Degenhart, we look at his own son, Max Rice. You can tell he puts a major emphasis on development, and he's honestly one of the best in the country when it comes to growing players and getting them better within his program.
Two-time Coach of the Year in the Mountain West. And, oh, by the way, turns 60 tomorrow. So happy birthday to Leon Rice tomorrow. Andrew Meadow, a freshman from Santa Clarita, California, with his first 2 points off the bench for Boise.
And I know the hair and the goggles throws you off a little bit, but my man can hoop. He is a legit baller, and Leon Rice thinks he is going to be really good for his program.
Now, I know we've talked about your age and some of the references that you don't know from back in the day. He lines it up again. Do you know who the Hanson brothers are? Do you know the movie Slapshot?
Why are you picking on me, Duck? No, I don't know that movie.
Paul Newman movie back in the 70s. That's another one. That's another assignment for you tomorrow. The Hanson brothers. And apparently his coach, Leon Rice, has told him about it. And like you, it's from years ago. He doesn't know what he's talking about either. But for those of us of a certain age, you look at him with the hair and the goggles and you think, it's a Hanson brother.
I like it, though. I love the confidence. And right there, oh.
Well, there's no doubt the coaches are very high on the upside of Andrew Meadow. They really think that they have gotten a baller who, like you said, get him in the system, get him better. He's going to be a good Bronco for years.
But what it is right now, Coach Rice is looking for answers. So now he's going deep in his bench, and this is where you earn your minutes. This is where you earn time to be able to step in a game like this where nothing is going right and show that you are confident and you can make it happen.
Degenhardt, nice up fake. Got both defenders in the air.
That's what you do. You get to the rim, you see the shot blocker coming, you take your time, but you have to attack.
Boise State inches its way back to within 4 as Shulga initiates the offense for VCU. Tough shot off the side of the backboard for Shulga. Abo. Meadow off the back iron, back tap beautifully by Cam Martin, and the possession continues. Now Abo spins over the left shoulder, a little too strong. Bell with a rebound, and Meadow commits the foul.
Now, the one thing I see with Meadow is that he actually can really play. You can see the read right there, and he's extremely confident. The read coming off of the ball screen. He backed up a little bit, shot the 3. That was a good look. He's not afraid of this moment, especially playing a very, very aggressive and ferocious VCU team.
Well, he had Pac-12 offers from Washington and Washington State. That from a long list of West Coast suitors. But he wanted to go to Boise, Idaho for his college career. Bright future.
Yeah, the goggles just throw me off. Even as a hooper, you typically don't see guys with goggles like that anymore.
Have you heard of White Men Can't Jump?
That's a great movie with Jack. You seen the one with Jack Harlow? Have you seen the one with Jack Harlow?
No.
There we go.
No, why would you remake a perfect movie?
There's a rendition with Jack Harlow that just came out.
No, it's got to be worse. It cannot be better than the original.
You know what? Typically when they do the remake, it's never that great. But this one wasn't horrible. It really wasn't bad. Like
I can't watch it.
It didn't compare.
Did you watch the first?
I did, yeah. That's one of my favorite movies ever. I've seen that one. There we go. But it actually wasn't horrible. Like, it wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible.
That's not exactly an endorsement that I want to give up 2 hours of my time to watch that movie. All right, we'll take a break. 17-13, VCU in this consolation game, looking to get the upper hand on Boise State. Back at the ESPN Events Invitational here at Disney World. 17-13 VCU with the lead. And Andrew Meadow with 5 points off the bench for the Broncos, getting a little extended run.
Oh,
hey,
man.
I know that kid.
A young Doug Sherman.
So now
wow.
You asked me in the first game, am I going to Disney on our day off tomorrow? And I said, no, I'm probably going to play golf. But this is proof with my Mickey Mouse shirt on back in 1971. The Sherman family had just been down here to Orlando to go to the theme park that wasn't quite open, but the gift shop was open.
Okay.
So as the story goes, my brothers Paul and Jim and I all were allowed to go into the gift shop and get one thing, and that red shirt with Mickey Mouse on it was my favorite shirt until I outgrew it.
You know, Andrea didn't have to put the 1971 right there.
Why not?
She could have. Oh, you're cool with the age?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay, good job.
With all this gray hair, I can't hide it.
Shout out to our producer, Andrea Crawford, for finding the photo of a young Doug Sherman.
Well, that was my first day of kindergarten. If you noticed, I had my little sleeping mat underneath my arm. Think about that. You had a half day of school at kindergarten where all you're doing is finger painting and drawing and playing sports, and you still got to take a nap. That was pretty cool.
That's lovely.
You've got a daughter that age. She knows.
That's lovely.
Chase Whiting with the basketball. Here goes Martin. Ooh. You think he's always aware of the fact that VCU defenders are lurking, waiting to swat that shot?
Yeah, Boise State has found an answer in this game. And put your head down, get to the rim. You have to attack pressure.
And welcome in from the battle for Atlantis. Michigan and Texas Tech have wrapped up. Thank you to Andrea and Kevin. Along with King McClure, I'm Doug Sherman. As Boise State gets a beautiful backdoor pass, everything but the finish as Tyson Dagenhart missed the layup. We've got a competitive ball game in this consolation game between VCU out of the A-10 and Boise State from the Mountain West. And for those who have been watching Atlantis, what have they missed so far in the first 13 and change, King?
Well, VCU got off to a strong lead. The pressure, the length of VCU bothered Boise. Boise finally settled in. They finally found a way to attack the pressure and to finally get some easy offense. And right now, that's why the score is 17-17. It wasn't that earlier. It almost looked like it was about to be a verge of a blowout. But my man, Meadow, came in the game and stepped up.
And there is Andrew Meadow handing it off to Dagenhart. Back to Martin. Now Meadow shaping up on the post, calling for the ball. 6 to shoot. Dagenhart works his way down the lane.
Oh, good patience. Oh,
got the layup
right there.
My goodness, Meadow missed the layup at the buzzer.
As you can see, this Boise State team is a team that plays below the rim. So you have to be patient and rely on your skill and footwork playing against VCU.
Shulga trying to get the call, didn't get it. Shulga had 5 early points for VCU, but he's been quiet lately. Zeb Jackson down the lane. Furman, no. Here's Jace Whiting.
VCU is a team that sometimes will go through scoring droughts. So in order to get out of them, they need Shulga or they need Zeb Jackson to step up and to go score.
Here's Meadow against the double team. Boise State playing for now without Max Rice, one of its starting guards who picked up 3 early fouls. Shulga strong to the basket and a chance for 3.
Getting downhill, he does a great job of using his body on the drive right there. Gets the angle, cuts him off, cuts the defender off. Max Shulga has game.
First foul on Kobe Young, redshirt sophomore from Chiawana High School, Pasco, Washington. Meadow and Young go out for Boise State. Bell takes a seat for VCU. And here is Shulga, averaging 14 points, 5 assists per game. He's already got 8 tonight. He was named preseason second team All-Atlantic 10 Conference based purely on what he had done at Utah State before the transfer.
Well, there's no secret that the man is talented. Everybody sees it. I mean, at 6'4", 6'5" as your point guard, he can really, really do a lot of things that makes him valuable to a team. Oh, good split.
Whiting will have a chance for 3.
Look at the split right here. Splits the defense, good touch. Fired up because finally settling into this pressure.
And again, as we mentioned before, Jace Whiting's mom, Amber Whiting, is in her 2nd year as the head coach at BYU. She's a Brigham Young alumna. And Jace's dad also played for Brigham Young. And his kid sister, Amari, has gotten her college career off to a great start. The Cougars, the women's team, are 5-0 and will host Loyola Marymount tomorrow. And I imagine they are watching from Utah.
You know, BYU is a sneaky, basketball school.
No doubt.
That place is rocking. Honestly, they're going to come into the Big 12. They're coming to the Big 12 this year. It might be a top 3, top 4 atmosphere.
Yeah, the Marriott Center. The Marriott Center. What is it? 17,000, 18,000. They pack it all the time. You're right. It's a tremendous home court. Billups leaves his feet, dumps it off, out of bounds. It's a turnover.
And that's the turnovers that, honestly, Ryan Odom probably could do without. You're driving to the lane. You have the ability to lay it up, but you try to pass and dump it off. You have to be selfish right there and go score. To dump it off and turn the ball over is inexcusable, and I know Ryan Odom wants to eliminate those.
The 8th turnover of the night for the Rams. Abo back out to Stanley. Just can't get the roll. And here comes Jason Nelson with a head of steam. Leaves it for Billups. Down the lane.
Oh.
Swatted. Cam Martin with the rejection.
Cam Martin is not the most athletic, but his timing on block shots is impeccable.
Second foul on Omar Stanley as we head to break.
Cam Martin, not that athletic, not that fast, but don't come in his paint.
Now the ESPN Events Invitational, and we have our championship match set for Sunday at 1 o'clock. It'll be the 19th ranked FAU Owls against Virginia Tech. 1 o'clock on ESPN. This is our consolation game to wrap up day number 2. And as we set off the top, King, it's so important for both of these teams, having lost their quarterfinal games, not to go into their Saturday off day 0-2.
This game is really important. And I feel like a lot of coaches look at this. You lost the first one, so you want to just get better. And getting better looks like you can still walk away 2-1, even though you're in the consolation and you lost your first game.
Because if you don't win first place in one of these events, and you don't win the trophy, which 7 of the 8 teams won't win it, of course, your goal is to go 2-1. Doesn't matter if you finish 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, whatever. If you get 2 wins out of 3, it's a successful trip to Florida.
Yes. And there's so many good teams in this tournament that I think the wins that you get here will be counted as valuable towards the end of the season.
No question about it. And again, 6 of the 8 teams in the field this year went to last year's NCAA tournament. And so with a couple of mid-major teams out of the Atlantic 10 and out of the Mountain West Conference, if they can get themselves into that conversation, this type of game, non-conference, in the early part of the season will help your resume.
And right there, Cam Martin might have got bailed out. That was a horrible pass. That pass was going out of bounds, but Meadow did get fouled, so he got bailed out.
Did you notice Lawal get that rebound?
Yeah.
Man.
My man is a freak athlete.
Just the simplest things for him. And for those of you who may not have heard earlier, he has a 49.5-inch vertical leap. Here he is. The shot from the corner. He's not just an athlete, he's a baller.
Well, that's typically not what he does. He is not a guy that you will rely on and you will count on to make threes like that. But if he does, that gives you an added bonus.
Well, he is 3 for 4 this year, making threes. Maybe he should take more of them. Under 3 minutes to go in the half. VCU's lead is back up to 6. Good defense by Billups. Now he comes over to help on the drive. Not in time, though, as Degenhart banks it in.
That's good awareness right there. Cam Martin didn't try to force it by going to this side, so he went to the other side, found Degenhart open, made him play out of a closeout. Good drive by Degenhart.
Degenhart averages 14 points per game to lead Boise State, along with Abo, who averages about 17 per. Nelson gives it up, gets it back with 5 on the shot clock. His 3 off the backboard first, and then a foul on the rebound. That's Christian Furman's second foul. And so Cam Martin, 6'9", 234 pounds, a 7th-year college player from Yukon, Oklahoma. Played a season at Jacksonville State, then transferred down to Division II Missouri Southern State, and all he did there was score the better part of 2,000 points and a 3-time Division II All-American. Then transferred back up to D1. Everybody wanted him. He wound up in Lawrence, Kansas, redshirted during their national title year a couple of seasons ago, and last year injuries kept him from playing more than a handful of games, so he got a medical redshirt, and now getting one last opportunity at Boise State. He's almost your age.
He really is, honestly. He really is, which is crazy to think that, you know, guys are in college right now, and they're 24, 25, 26 years old.
Under 2 minutes to go in the half. Shulga is fouled by Anderson. Well, we're coming nearer to the end of the cycle of those extra NCAA COVID years, so some of that age will eventually go away. But it's changed the whole makeup of the sport.
It has. because the one and done, the freshmen being the most dominant players in college basketball is you really rarely see it. I mean, you look at Coach Cal right now, and he has 4 or 5 high-level freshman guys, and yeah, they're good, but will they be able to have success in March? No, because older teams are the teams that win in advance.
But you look at Boise State, they have a handful of good freshmen, and they aren't getting as many minutes because you've got 5th, 6th, and 7th year guys who are ahead of them. And you can see that on rosters all around the country, over 350 teams, and many of them are in the same situation.
Yeah.
There is not the premium on the true freshman that there traditionally has been over the course of the last 40 years.
But also what makes it interesting is with the transfer portal, why would you go get a guy who is a freshman, who's an 18-year-old, never played college basketball, when you can go get a guy who has done 2-3 years and understands what it takes to win?
Of course. Meadows, a true freshman, saying, I need some more playing time.
Andrew Meadows is having himself a game. He is the sole reason, or one of the reasons, probably the biggest reason, why Boise State is in this game.
That is a new career high for him. Of course, his career is only 5 games old, but that's 10 points already for the freshman from California. Now Boise with a chance to take the lead. Abo penetrates, banks it in, and yes, Boise State is on top 28-27, its first lead of the night.
That's a good drive right there. Put your head down, finish over the length. Good drive by Abo.
Bell has been quiet tonight after such a good game in the quarterfinal round. This is Nelson. Spotting up from the top of the key. Off the mark, though, for Billups. Abo.
Oh, man.
Coming out the other way, Billups. Poked away by Degenhart. Billups looking for a foul call, is not going to get it.
Oh, man. That looked like it was out on Degenhart. He poked it out. Boise thought it might have went off of Billups' body when he went up. I think they made the right call. On this side, though, look at Tobi Lawal. Oh, my goodness. Head at the rim. Goodness gracious of life.
Tuesday, it is 2 featured ACC-SEC challenges for men's college basketball on ESPN, beginning with number 10 Miami taking on number 16 Kentucky at 7:30 Eastern Time. And then it's the Clemson Tigers versus number 17 Alabama. You can get all the action on the app, too. So I want to see how the Hurricanes do this year. You know, they have been serially undervalued, and yet all they do is keep winning games under Jim Larrañaga. Made it all the way to the Final Four, and I'm glad they're in the top 10 now. But that is a legit program that year in and year out is going to contend in the ACC.
Jim Larrañaga is extremely undervalued as a coach. And I mean, his backcourt right now with Wooga and what's my guy's name from Kansas State?
Nigel.
Nigel Pack.
Yes.
Nigel Pack and Wooga, and those two guys are legit.
Wooga's going to play in the league.
No, Wooga's a pro. And Nigel Pack, when he heats up, he'll have an opportunity.
Shot clock off. Final 15 seconds of the half. Here's Zeb Jackson. Billups gets it back. He goes to the floor, and it's a blocking foul that goes against Boise State. And against Cam Martin, that is his second foul. VCU kind of caught a break because neither of the guys wanted the basketball.
And right there, you don't want to bail them out. I mean, 1 second left on the game clock. You don't want to get a foul and put them on the free throw line. You want to walk out of here with a 1-point lead at halftime, but now it gives VCU the opportunity to take the lead going into the half.
And now Fats Billups, who grew up in Richmond, Virginia, rooting for the Duke Blue Devils. He says he got his nickname. His name is Alfonso Billups III, but everybody calls him Fats because he says, quote, "I was a fat little baby." And it just carried on. You're not fat now.
That's one way to put it.
There is no body fat.
Yeah, you can't tell that my man was a fat kid.
Out of Verina High School there in Richmond. Good stroke on both free throws. He's 6 for 6 this year from the stripe. 1.1 to go. Can Boise get off a shot? They get it off, but no chance for Abo to get it on the rim. A competitive first 20 minutes here in this consolation round.
I want to see what the coaches do in the second half. Zeb Jackson has been extremely quiet. Will he be able to get going? Yesterday, towards the end of the game, he finally got it going. And Boise State has finally settled in to be able to withstand the pressure of VCU.
Ryan Odom heads into the locker room with a 1-point lead. Max Shulga leads all scorers with 12. Meadow, the freshman off the bench for the Broncos, with 10. Our halftime score, VCU 29, Boise State 28. Coming up next, we'll send you back to the studio. John Crispin, Tom Green, and Zubin Mahenti. Welcome back to the ESPN Events Invitational here at State Farm Fieldhouse, ready for the start of the second half between the VCU Rams and the Broncos of Boise State. The Rams led by as many as 10 in the first half, but Boise has made it a ball game. With King McClure, I'm Doug Sherman. Welcome back, everybody. And a tight ball game as we expected. A lot of turnovers for VCU were a problem, but what are you expecting here in the second half, King?
Well, for VCU, can you get Zeb Jackson involved in the offense? As your leading scorer, you have to get him more involved. And for Boise State, will you be able to maintain and be able to handle the pressure the way you did in the second part of the first half?
Let's show you the two leading scorers. First with Max Shulga, who did what he does.
This guy is extremely talented. He's tall. You will never speed him up. He is very creative when he gets into the lane. My man has the complete package. He is a really, really, really good scorer in a tough matchup. And Andrew Meadow is having his breakout game. Welcome to the party. The goggles and all, he is filling it up. Doing his thing out there, and he's actually starting in the second half because Leon Rice is seeing the value that he is bringing to this team. And one of the reasons why this is a 1-point game.
10 points and 12 minutes off the bench in the first half. Made both of his 3-point shots. And so, as mentioned, he gets the start in place of Max Rice, the coach's son, who has 3 fouls. As you see the first half stats, those 8 turnovers a problem for the Rams, and the bench points all Meadow for the Broncos. Can he carry it over here to the second half? Boise State with the ball to begin this second half. Cam Martin with it, big number 31, looking to back his way into the paint over the left shoulder, and he draws the foul. And it goes against Michael Bell, who was so good in the quarterfinals yesterday. We have rarely called his name so far tonight, but he picks up his first.
I love the patience that Cam Martin displays right here. He takes his time, walks him down. Of course, he has the weight advantage, but there's nothing that Michael Bell could do except foul in that moment.
You know, he played his junior year of high school at Norman North. You know what high school Norman North in Oklahoma is?
I want to say that's Trey Young's high school.
You got it. He was a high school teammate of Trey Young, as well as Lindy Waters. A couple of guys in the NBA. Yeah. Oklahoma State, another Big 12 guy.
Yeah, last time I played Lindy Waters, you want to know how much I had.
I'm guessing it's a lot.
At Oklahoma State, we played Lindy Waters. I had 29 last time we
Nice.
played. Actually, no, that wasn't last time. It was the second to last time, because the last time they beat us on my senior night.
And you and Lindy would have been matched up.
Actually, yeah, he was guarding me a little bit, and
or maybe
Thomas Dzakwa.
Or maybe they weren't guarding you.
Yeah, that's true.
29's pretty good. So, yeah, how about that? You had Cam Martin along with 2 NBA players. It's a pretty good high school team.
Yeah, that's a solid high school squad. Trey Young was getting buckets. You want to know how much Trae Young gave me first game?
41.
42.
Well, I had one of his breakout games his freshman year at PK 80, the Phil Knight Invitational, against Oregon, and it was Peyton Pritchard for Oregon against Trae Young, and Trae went for 40-something, and just like, wow.
The year of Trae.
I was glad to be in the Big 12 that year because I got maybe 4 Oklahoma games and got a front row seat.
Oh, man.
Zeb Jackson caught the bottom of the rim, and the count remains 29 apiece. Degenhart, a little bit of a wild shot. And here comes Zeb Jackson. Jackson was the last John Beilein recruit at Michigan. He turns it over. Jace Whiting puts Boise State on top, 32-29.
If you notice, VCU is trying to pick on Whiting and Meadow, but those two guys are doing a great job of holding their own on the defensive side.
Martin went for the steal, couldn't come up with it. This is Bell. He attacks Andrew and draws the foul. Andrew picks up the personal. And that'll send Michael Bell, the freshman from London, to the free throw line, shooting 2.
This right here. Whiting doing a great job of staying in front of the basketball, causing that turnover. And Abo making a great decision. Didn't have the numbers. Find Whiting wide open, three-point bucket.
Michael Bell with his first point tonight. Great size, 6'7", 215, got a good handle. Averaging 6 points per game after having put 14 on the board against Iowa State last night. Boise State in some trouble here. Taken away by the Rams. Shulga right to the rim, and he lays it in.
A little bit of over-dribbling right there from Degenhart. VCU will get to you. If you over-dribble their length, will be able to cause deflections and cause turnovers like we just saw.
Does Boise State have that guard, that guy right now on the roster where under those circumstances they can just give him the ball?
Yes. I think it won't be just one guy. It has to be a collective team unit. And right now, Whiting is the guy right now who is attacking pressure starting in this second half. He did a little bit in the first half, but right there, that's a great drive and a really tough angle to finish right there.
Young man with 7 points. He graduated high school in Idaho back in 2020 and then spent a couple of years serving an LDS mission in Helsinki, Finland, before coming to Boise State University. Bell around and out. Martin with another rebound. High-low, big to big. Degenhart, no. Martin. Abo will try again. 4 different Broncos on the same possession had a shot.
And it all started with Martin bringing the ball up, locating where the mismatch was. Degenhart had him sealed, threw it over the top. This is great awareness from your big man, and they just happen to get these offensive boards. The ball just happens to come right to their hands, and they're in the right spot at the right time.
Second foul on Kwani. Chibuzo Abo, the senior from San Diego, with the foul shot out of St. Augustine High School. He was a high 3-star coming out of that high school, offered by Texas Tech, Arizona, Butler, etc. Spent a couple of years in Lubbock for the Red Raiders. Shulga, blocked by Martin.
A little out of control. One of the few times that Shulga gets out of control.
Max Rice into the game for the first time since picking up his third foul. And a traveling violation as the ball handler lost his footing. Abo went down and gives it back to VCU. The Rams will have it when we come back to Disney. Beautiful complex here. It's mostly, though, for youth sports. Yeah. And as we talked about in our previous game, Virginia Tech's senior star, Hunter Couture, played basketball here in this building many times, and as you said, a lot of these guys have come through and played hoops right here at this building.
Yeah, I played growing up here too. We had AAU Nationals here. I want to say it was 6th, 7th grade, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th grade, one of the two. I don't know. It's a long time ago. Even though it really wasn't that long.
Not that long ago.
Oh man!
Up above the rim, as we would expect from him, Tobi Lawal.
Yeah, well, Tobi Lawal, just throw it up there, put it up there. It's somewhere decent, and he's going to catch it.
Here's Chase Whiting, has provided nice offense for the Broncos tonight. Boise State with the ball in a 1-point lead. Max Rice down the lane. Little finger roll.
That's a good sight to see for Boise because he did not have a great first half, getting in foul trouble.
He was second team all-conference in the Mountain West last year, finally playing healthy and pain-free. Back for a 6th year playing for his dad. How about Lawal again? He's got a chance for 3.
That's the energy that he brings. This is his role for VCU. He's not really a heavy offensive guy. Doesn't really have a lot of offensive game, but he's worked hard to get better at it. But these are the little things that he does. Fights on the glass, brings energy, defense. That is what he specializes in.
Now the free throws are still an issue. He was 5 of 17 as a freshman, 8 of 15 so far this year. We have talked about how much he has worked on his shot. His jump shot looks much better. He's more confident. The free throw line may be the next step. By the way, that was the 3rd foul on Cam Martin. Got to keep an eye on that with nearly 15 minutes left in the second half.
And you can tell that he has a little ways to go on his shot because it's extremely slow. He gets it up with a really slow release. And this right here, that's just beautiful basketball. That is beautiful basketball. What Boise State loves to, they love to play through their post players, which means Cam Martin, Stanley, they are at the top of the key. They cut back door and use different types of variations, come together actions to get you confused and make decisions on the defensive side. And right there, we see the cut back door.
The assist to Stanley, now 12 points for Meadow on the goaltending. Shulga again, attacking the bigs and putting up kind of a wild shot, and we have seen him do that a couple of times so far tonight, and he has not done so well. He's now shooting 4 of 12 from the field. Shulga pokes it away. Boise State will keep.
Well, because one thing that Boise State is doing a great job of, their big Stanley, Rice, one thing they're doing a really good job of, Martin, is walling up and going vertical, not bringing their hands down, which makes it an extremely tough finish for any guard.
Anderson calls timeout in the backcourt, and Leon Rice is saying, no, I wanted you to get to the front court before calling that timeout. Nonetheless, it's break time here at Disney with the Broncos up 3. They've been playing so well.
Yeah, he was playing extremely well.
Yeah. Boise State with the basketball in a 3-point lead with King McClure. I'm Doug Sherman. Nelson went down. The VCU fans are screaming for a foul that's not going to come.
Yeah, he got away with a push-off right there. Extended the arm. That's an offensive foul.
Max Rice keeps. Turns. Nicely done.
I call that the Max Rice special. You get beat to the spot where you turn around, post them up, finish with the right-hand hook. He specializes in that.
Second team all-conference a year ago. He's got 4 points, and he's given his Broncos a 5-point lead. Phillips loses his footing and loses the basketball. Rice pulls up from deep, around and out. Lawal skies for the rebound. Here come the Rams the other way. Shulga, much better looking shot that time in the lane, had the shoulders square and got the nice bounce.
It was just great patience in the post. He saw the double coming, so he split before the second defender could come, rises over the top of the 5'10" defender. Just great shot right there by Shulga.
He's now got 16 points to lead the Rams, who are back within 3. Stanley strong to the hoop, and he lays it off the glass for 2.
Good take right there. Faked the dribble handoff, got the defense off balance, exploited the gap.
Shulga swings it quickly into the corner. Good closeout on Lawal, who has made a corner 3 tonight. Nelson's in trouble. Whoa, and they're going to call a double dribble. Was he trying to sell that the ball was knocked out of his hands?
Yeah, but he didn't do a great job because that was obvious, my man. Take a look at it. Yeah, if he would have tried to dribble immediately, he might have been able to get away with it, but he still held it and tried to pivot and then dribble. You can't get away with that one.
Max Rice may have gotten a piece of it.
Yeah, he should have done it right there on that moment.
How much when you're out there are you thinking about trying to game the system like that?
A lot, actually, because you're in a position where you really have nowhere to go. So one thing I'm looking for, I want you to slap it out of my hands. As long as you don't grab it out, if you can slap it out and make it bounce, okay, cool. I'm going to pick up my dribble, and I'm going to leave, go right there where I left off. And, oh, Max Rice.
There's another Max Rice special for you.
The inside scoop layup coming off the dribble handoff. Max Rice didn't have a great first half, but his second half, he is picking it up. Tough layup. Falling away. This is hard. Good and one. This is what they wanted to see out of him, really in the first half, but better late than never.
Yeah, he picked up 3 quick fouls and spent the rest of the half on the bench, and actually coming off the bench here in the second half, and all 7 of his points have come since the break. That foul on Shulga was just his first and the 3rd against VCU.
This is the time where Zeb Jackson just has to wake up and has to be able to score the basketball. He has to get aggressive.
Here is Jackson with the basketball. Shulga calls for a screen, instead drives with his left hand again, and is fouled before the shot. He was fouled after the shot too, but they're only going to count the first one. 11:52 remaining in the second. Boise State has opened up for Coach Rice an 8-point lead.
I guess you would, but it's so interesting because I wonder, like, after bad games, does Coach Rice go up to him and be like, son, you played bad, or does he, like, you got to play better as a coach? Like, what type of conversation do you think they have after games?
I'm sure it's a delicate balance all the way around, and asked him if both of his sons were going to play for him no matter what coming out of high school. Good answer for VCU coming out of the break to get the dunk from Kwani, and he said he indicated that he thought that both Cade and Max were going to come to Boise State, but he wasn't so sure Max was going to stay because he wasn't getting a lot of minutes his first 4 years. And so there was no certainty that he was going to stay. But obviously it's a different dynamic than he's got to deal with any of his other players.
And I think the reason that made him stay was because typically when you see coaches' kids, you know, the thing is they have to be the worst player or the best player on the team. Well, Max does the little things. He does the intangibles that help you win. And this man right here, Max Shulga, shooting it from almost the half-court line, the logo. He does the little things too, but he also does the big things like we just saw.
Shulga leads all scorers with 19. That's 5 quick points coming out of the break. Boise State for a moment led by 8. That's their largest lead, but since the timeout, it's been all VCU. Now, if you're Dagenhart coming out, you're thinking, man, I better get out there.
Oh, my goodness.
Here he goes again. Well, airball that time.
Now, although he airballed, the separation that he created with the move that he used, the creativity he shows off of the bounce, I've been really, really impressed with.
And we've not been able to show, either last night or tonight, the tattoo on Shulga's leg, which caught your attention during practice a couple of days ago. He's got a signpost. He's wearing tights. Both games he's worn tights, so we can't show it to you, but he's got a signpost to show all the different places in the world that he has lived. And of course, he's from Ukraine and played at Utah State. Now he's in Richmond, Virginia at VCU, a well-traveled young man because of the sport of basketball.
Yeah, it caught my attention because at first it looked like a rifle, and I was confused. Like, why does he have that on his leg? But then the SID told us, and it actually made a lot of sense. It was actually pretty cool. Pretty cool idea.
Yep. So Richmond is his latest addition after transferring from Utah State. Last year, All Mountain West Conference honorable mention, where he averaged 12 per game and followed Coach Odom to VCU, and a lot is expected of him if this VCU team is to live up to expectations, where they were picked second in the preseason A10 poll behind Dayton. But a lot of new faces and a lot of new styles to try and meld together. This is a young team for Ryan Odom. Roddy Anderson bottled up, gets it to Degenhart. Pressure handled very well for Boise State.
And that's how you handle pressure. You don't try to dribble through it. You have to pass out of it, especially with the length that VCU shows.
Degenhart has had a quiet night scoring the basketball. Max Rice driving dish to Anderson. That's a friendly rim right there. First 3 points for Roddy Anderson III.
And that was all set up by Max Rice. They attacked the drive, found the open man because VCU loaded up. Good pass, good shot by Roddy Anderson.
Well, Coach Rice says that young man has moxie.
What is that?
Nerve, guts.
Oh, okay.
Willing and able to take a big shot.
Like that?
Yeah. Shulga with another hand in his face. Give him 3 more.
Max Shulga just gets buckets at an elite rate. Right there, not afraid to shoot the jumper with the hand in his face, contested or uncontested. Max Shulga is a hooper.
Shulga's career high was 29 against Air Force last season. He's got 22, so it's possible, certainly. Shulga commits the foul. At least I thought it was Shulga. No, it's Kwani who picks up the personal, his third.
Look at this right here. Hand in the face does not matter. And you know what? Call me crazy, Doug.
Crazy.
Call me crazy, but you know who I see when I look at them in college. You know whose game I see Max Shulga play like.
Give me a second. Let me think about it.
Yeah, think about this one.
And I know the frame of reference is only going to be in the last 15 years.
It's probably going to be in the last 5. I give you that hint. Last 5 years.
Got a clue for me?
Ooh, the Lakers.
Oh, okay. Reeves from Oklahoma.
When I look at how Austin Reeves was in college.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying that he's going to end up being Austin Reeves.
Okay.
Let's not get that twisted. But when you look at Austin Reeves, how he played in college is very similar to how Shulga is playing.
Okay, I like that comp. He's being paid very well for the sport of basketball now.
Yeah, and I'm not saying one day he's going to be the next Austin Reeves. I'm not saying that at all.
No.
But his game is very similar to Austin Reeves in college. I had a chance to do a few Austin Reeves games while I was one of my first years at ESPN, actually. And to watch them, they're very similar if you really watch the tape.
And I think it's only natural for announcers, former players, and fans, too. You do have certain players who catch your attention and make you think of somebody else.
And they're both similar heights. I mean, they're both 6'4", 6'5", play at a really, really good pace.
And who would have thought Austin Reeves would carve out a space not only in the NBA, but as such a key good player?
I would have never.
Right.
I would have never, ever expected him to do what he is doing right now.
So you just never know.
You never know. He was good, but I didn't think he was this level of good. .38, clock running. VCU with the basketball, down by 5.
This is a consolation game closing out day 2 of the ESPN Events Invitational. Good bounce for VCU and a chance for a 3-point play. In the right place at the right time was Michael Bell, and Cam Martin has picked up his 4th foul.
And that's one of those fouls, one of those buckets that you just have to give up if you're Cam Martin. Right here, you're so valuable to your team. You cannot have small tic-tac fouls because now you have to go back to the bench. So their 2 points that you give up is not worth all the value that you bring.
And so there goes Martin back to the bench with 8:25 to go. We'll see how long Coach Rice leaves him out to protect him with those 4 fouls. VCU back to within 2. Here's Anderson, the UC San Diego transfer. Had a great year as a freshman and then transferred to the Mountain West. Neto back into the game. He's been a big spark off that Broncos bench tonight. Stanley the screen. Anderson pulls the trigger. Little moxie right there.
There we go. He backed off. Anderson hasn't been shooting the 3 well this season. But right there, I think he has a different level. Average over 10 while he was at UC San Diego. Can really take this team to a different level if he can score.
Well, his father, Roddy, played at Utah State. 2-year starter at point guard back in the 90s. Roddy the third heating up with 6 quick points for Boise State. Back at the ESPN Events Invitational. Day 2 almost in the books. We've got our championship game set for Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN. 19th ranked Florida Atlantic University to take on the Virginia Tech Hokies. Both are undefeated and will look to head back to either Boca Raton or to Blacksburg with a trophy in hand and a 3-0 record. FAU had the really odd loss before coming here to Bryant. And you wonder if that was the kind of wake-up call that they needed, because obviously you went to the Final Four. You've got almost everybody back. You're clearly feeling yourself, and maybe you needed to have yourself knocked down a rung before you can keep going forward.
100%, because the win against A&M was impressive.
Yeah.
A&M is a really good team who went to Ohio State, won that game, beat SMU at SMU. They have some pretty good victories already, and Wade Taylor is one of the best guards in the country, SEC preseason player of the year. So A&M is no slouch. So to win that game showed a lot about FAU and how tough they really are.
And so FAU will take on Virginia Tech Sunday at 1 o'clock for the title here in Disney World. VCU loses the basketball back to Boise State.
There was a lot going on right there. Look at this possession. The ball gets tipped so many times, and I mean, to be honest, I don't necessarily, I mean, maybe, but the hands were on the ball. I don't see any type of foul right there.
I agree.
It looked aggressive, but I don't see it.
Dagenhart around and out. Zeb Jackson, who began as a gymnast as a 3-year-old.
Wow.
Played soccer, played a bunch of sports before as a 7 or 8-year-old. His parents got him into basketball, and this is where he has stuck. Big collision. Got to have a whistle there. The officials look at each other. Ooh. And Earl Walton is the one who finally makes the call to say it's a charge.
And I think my guy on the baseline was going to call that one a block. I think they disagreed, but he let Earl Walton take the lead on this because I think this is a block. He didn't hit him square in the chest. He hit him in the shoulder. I don't think he beat him to the spot. I think that is a block. I think they got that one wrong.
Instead, it's the second foul on Bell and gives the ball back to Boise State. Anderson, couple of pump fakes off the glass for 2.
Anderson showing us what he can do. He averaged 13 last year at UC San Diego. He can provide a level of scoring at the guard position that is much needed.
Shulga back out to Bell, spotting up for three. Long rebound. Degenhart may have gotten away with a hold there to allow Rice to track down the long rebound. Into the corner, Max Rice. Bounce it inside Stanley. He somehow gets through the double team, but then missed the shot. Shulga for VCU. Long pass up ahead. Nelson. Nice job to bounce it to his teammate in the other corner, Tobi Lawal. Count it, and the foul.
If you're Stanley right there, you have to stay on your feet. But that is great patience by Tobi Lawal to get the big in the air and then jump as soon as he is coming down.
That is the third foul on Stanley, and number 7 against the Broncos. Double figures now for Tobi Lawal. Back to a 4-point game. Tyson Degenhart splits the double team with a nice bounce pass to Stanley. And he's fouled.
That's a great way. When you see the double, get rid of the basketball and find the open man. Degenhart does a great job right here. Sees the double coming, locates the open man. If you're Lawal and you see the double, you have to sprint over there and get to the midline right underneath the basket to take away the first pass and make them skip over the top.
Second foul on Lawal. Three-point play completed by Omar Stanley. Winding down to the 5-minute mark. Every possession means a lot right now for VCU. Jackson went to his dominant left hand. It was blocked. And I believe they're going to count the basket.
Huh. That's interesting because typically the baseline ref would be the one that would see that and have the best angle. That looked like that might have been clean.
Count the basket, back to a 5-point game. Degenhart posting up, asking for the ball. He's got Bell defending on the block.
Oh, Andrew Meadow, whoa.
Shulga goes around Meadow. Right to the basket for 2.
And as well as Andrew Meadow has played right there, that's not a great shot. That is a very forced shot, and it leads to an easy bucket in transition. I think they're about to pull him out because that's a freshman shot.
Max Rice. The Rams come away with it in the hands of Jackson. There's the whistle and a foul. Jackson on the floor holding his head. Looks like he's okay.
Good move right here. The pickup gather step into the 1-2. He ran into 2 people, but on the arm, Degenhart got him first, and that's where the first foul occurred. He honestly got fouled twice right there, but it was a good pickup gather step dribble.
And again, Zeb Jr., Zeb Jackson Jr., beginning at the age of 3, his parents Zeb Sr. and Chandra put their son into gymnastics. Well, Tuesday it's 2 featured ACC SEC challenges for men's college basketball on ESPN. Number 10 Miami takes on number 16 Kentucky at 7:30 Eastern, and then it's the Clemson Tigers and the Alabama Crimson Tide. You can get all the action as well on the app.
You know, I found Kentucky to be really interesting because who do you think has been the best guard on Kentucky?
You tell me.
Reed Shepherd.
Okay.
You have DeJuan Wagner. And you have, I forgot my other man's name. It's late. But Reed Shepherd has been the best guard on that team. Dillingham, Rob Dillingham, that is the name right there.
Anderson nearly got that one to go home off the window. Furman does a nice job. No, he was out of bounds when he banged the ball off of Martin. So it will be Boise State basketball when we come back. The Broncos hanging on to a slim 1-point lead in this consolation round.
All right, the referee got it right. Good call.
So glad you're with us. VCU within a point of Boise State in the final 3 minutes and 35 seconds. And the officials have gone back to the replay during that timeout to go back and look at the goaltend that was called before the timeout.
And it looked like it was a clean block. Stanley got the ball before it went down, and it didn't hit the backboard first. It was a clean block. We're getting the It's a clean block. Stanley met it before it was going down, did not touch the backboard. This is a clean block.
And so good for the officials to go and get it right. And so 2 points come off the board from VCU, and it's now 60-57. You and I both live thought it was a clean block, and then on that replay, especially when you saw it with our camera from behind the basket through the glass, it clearly was blocked before it hit the glass, and it looked to us like it was on the way up.
100%. They got it right. Great job by the referees to go review it, because the rule is on a goaltend they can go review it in the next medium. They went to the monitor, went to review it. Great job by them getting the call right.
But if you don't call it goaltending at that point, you can't go back and review it. And I'm guessing that's in the back of the mind when Earl Walton makes that call, knowing that at the next stoppage they can go check it and make sure. So they got it right. VCU down 3 rather than down 1. It's Boise State basketball with 3:35 remaining. Jace Whiting back into the game at the point with the basketball for Boise State. Max Rice backing his way toward the basket. Off the front rim, no. VCU with it with a chance to tie. Trying to get the ball to Shulga. Now he's got it.
And the ball has to be in Shulga's hands.
Little change of pace. Passes to the corner for Bell. Here goes Jackson to the basket. Big stop for Boise State.
Good pull out right there. You realize that you did not have the numbers. Way to pull it out, set something up on the offensive side.
Cam Martin playing with 4 fouls, and he is fouled. Michael Bell picks up his 3rd and the 8th against VCU, so a 1-and-1 upcoming for Cam Martin.
And in this moment, when both teams are in the bonus, you're trying to come back down by 3. You just have to be solid. You cannot give up free points by trying to reach in. Be solid and wall up.
Martin has made just 1 field goal tonight. He's got 6 points. Make it 7, and the lead stretches back to 5. Shulga looked like he was hunting that 3-point shot. Abo, though, trying to stay with him.
That's great defense right there by Abo.
Bell goes to the ground. 5 to shoot. Shulga puts it up. Long rebound to the corner. Bell's got a shot. He's got the ball. Tries to throw it out of bounds off the leg of Abo, and apparently he was successful.
That's good hustle by Bell to go track down the ball that honestly should have went out of bounds.
Oh, it was knocked out of his hands perhaps, or did he lose it? In that far corner, we couldn't see exactly what happened. And we're going to try and see any other angle that we have that might help the officials make sure they got it right. So Bell did not actively try to throw it off his opponent. Did Abo poke it out? Was he the last to touch it?
Yeah, we're not really getting a great angle on this.
So the ball stays with VCU.
Leon Rice doing a little offense defense with Cam Martin and Omar Stanley, because Cam Martin has 4 fouls, so we can't be as aggressive as a guy like Stanley can right now. Smart coaching right there by Leon Rice.
Tough place to inbound from in that corner. You rarely see it on that out of bounds. Gets it into Jackson. Shot clock at 16. Streaking to the basket and hanging in the air is Jackson.
That's where Jackson is at his best. Going to the left, downhill.
Now trying to ride the ball handler, goes down and lost it. Whiting turns it back over to VCU. And now Whiting is going to be replaced by Roddy Anderson. Hope Whiting is okay. Took an awkward step there.
It got sped up just a little bit by Zev Jackson. He turned him a few times, tried to blow by, but got sped up. Zev Jackson has great full court defense.
As you saw, 14 turnovers now for VCU. Boise's done a better job at taking care of the ball. Bell in the lane, keeps the dribble, brings it back out. 1:15 remaining in regulation for the tie. Bell towards his own bench, saves it, and now out of bounds. Whose ball is it? It is Boise State possession. That was dramatic.
The ref made the most dramatic call right there. Man, that was so dramatic. I love it, though.
Well, I like the hustle of Bell once again, going to get that ball and keep it alive. And now again, the officials on an out-of-bounds play can see if we've got another angle that will either affirm their call or overturn it. Right there, I would say on that angle, it looked like Shulga was the last to touch. But whether it's definitive or not, actually, you and I are not watching what the audience is watching right now. So we just saw one that made us think Shulga probably was the last to touch.
Yeah. They made the right call. Boise State basketball.
Yeah, here's the one we were looking at.
Yeah, Shulga was the last one, so and he ends up landing on it. That's the right call. You know, one thing I will say is the referees are making sure that they are getting every call right, and I love that.
Yep.
Accurate officiating.
And so it is Boise State basketball with 1:07 to go. And now probably just making sure the clock is right. Currently there's 1:07 left in regulation. We'll see if they adjust that. Looks like it's going to stay at 107. Nope, back to 108 now. We'll see if that 1 second comes into play. VCU led by as many as 10 points in the first half. Led by a point at halftime, 29-28. But find themselves down 3 and in need of a stop here.
You have to take care of the basketball right now. They'll run and jump. VCU loves to run and jump, and right there you cannot foul if you're Tobi Lawal. You can be aggressive, but you cannot foul. The reach in is not necessary. Just turn him a few times and see if he'll give it to you, but you have to be solid.
Foul number 3 on Lawal, and Degenhart will head to the line. Coming into the game, he was 14 of 18 from the stripe. He's a perfect 4 for 4 so far this evening. The senior out of Spokane, Washington. Out of Mount Spokane High School with the 1-and-1. Perfect on the first. He'll get the bonus. Last year he averaged 14 points. Named first team All Mountain West Conference. That's just about what he's averaging at this point. Picture perfect form on a couple of free throws to make it 64-59. 1 minute to go. Jackson spins back to that dominant left hand, misses a little long. Bell brings it back out. Shulga down the lane, dump it off.
Oh,
you know how that's going to finish. Number 10 up above the rim for the slam.
Oh my goodness.
Again, if you haven't seen that video, with a 49.5-inch vertical, his head easily goes above the rim.
Every single time he jumps, it's just so impressive to me. This is a good find, though. But he just explodes off of the ground.
And that was a good business decision by Omar Stanley not to contest. Get out the way.
Get out the way with him, because you will end up on SportsCenter top 10. And you'll probably go viral.
Yep. So the 2 points for VCU. And there's your reset. Bring the Rams back to within 3. It's still a 1-possession game. A couple of timeouts left for VCU. Just 1 remaining for Boise State. The possession arrow belongs to the Broncos. Roddy Anderson, Max Rice, the guards coming out of the huddle, along with Degenhart, Martin, and Abo.
Right now for VCU, this is a crucial possession. You cannot foul. You have to get a stop. Rely on your defense and get a stop. If you foul, you will go down. Honestly, you'll probably make it a 2-possession game. So you have to rely on your defense to get a stop. For Boise, take care of the basketball and get the best shot possible.
Anderson's got 3 to get it across. He does. 20 on the shot clock. Degenhart hands it back to the point guard, Roddy Anderson III. Here comes Martin to set the screen. Anderson uses it. Rice off the curl, pulls up from 14. Around and out, VCU gets the stop. Down 3 with 20 seconds to go. Timeout, Coach Odom.
That's a good stop right there by VCU. Zeb Jackson went for the steal. They maybe could have caught a foul on the wraparound, but Max Rice gives them a gift and misses the wide open floater. You got bailed out. So right now, for VCU, I want to see what they call up. I know they have to put the ball in Max Shulga's hands. He's been your best player. He's been your most efficient player. And Jason Nelson, don't be surprised if he is in the game as an option in the corner. If you help off, Max Shulga will be able to locate the open man, and Jason Nelson is one of the better shooters on this team. But Max Shulga has been an all for VCU. The way he is scoring the basketball, he's doing it a myriad of ways. Posting up, shooting from the tray, shooting it deep from the logo. He's doing it all, and he has been huge for VCU. So the ball has to be in his hands in this last possession, because he's your best off-the-dribble three-point shooter. He's your best creator, but he can also find and make the wide-open play.
He's 3 of 11 from 3. Nelson is 2 of 3, but you don't need a 3 here. You'll take a good 3 if you see it, but you don't have to have a 3, do you? If you can get a quick 2.
It depends on how quick it is. if you can't get a quick 2 within 5 seconds, you're probably going to need to get a 3.
No doubt.
So you have to go really quick or get the best 3 available. Because right now, if you're Boise, you'll give up the 2. If you get blown by, cool. Just do not foul and make it an and 1. It's okay. Getting blown by in this situation as a defender is not the worst thing in the world because you still get the ball and can go make free throws when you get fouled.
And King, as you mentioned, keep an eye on Nelson, who will be inbounding the basketball. They get it into Jackson. 10 seconds to go, and now they're going to have to go for 3.
Right now, you have to get a 3, but I don't love this right here.
They leave it for Jackson to take the tough 3. It's an air ball.
Right there.
Martin has the rebound, and the foul is given. Boise State should get out of here with a win.
I don't love that right there. Zeb Jackson has not made a 3 all day, only attempted 1. Max Shulga is the guy. 24 points tonight, and this is the best thing that you get. That is not a good look. I do not like that. I know Coach Odom is wanting that possession back because that's not what he drew up.
And a good job by the defender, Roddy Anderson, just to wall up and make sure that with the shooter leaning into him, there's no chance of getting called for a foul.
And Anderson did a good job staying in the same spot, not allowing them to get the 3-point foul.
Martin hit the first. And that'll do it. Boise State gets his first win of the week. 65-61 over VCU. And now a chance to catch your breath. A day off tomorrow before the 3rd and final game for each of these teams will be played on Sunday.
Well, Boise State at the beginning of the game, it looked like VCU was in complete control of this game. But Boise had to settle in and be able to withstand the pressure that VCU was being able to provide early on in the game. And shout out to Boise. And you know what? My man Meadows, my man Andrew Meadows came out here and provided that lift, provided that spark to make sure that Boise was not going to get blown out.
You remember your assignment now for tomorrow. You got to watch Slapshot.
I have so many assignments. You might as well text them all to me, Doug.